Hi, I'm toiletbutwipe, aka FroggyAJ. Pretty recently, I discovered a game called Doodle World. I decided to record my adventure, and for the past few months, I've been uploading nothing but Doodle World. With a new series of my Doodle World adventure showing how fun the game is with my little experience, I've gone to see how Doodle World is truly different compared to other creature capturing games. This newfound interest in the game caused a spark of curiosity in me. How did we get here? Put on your detective caps because today we're going to be diving into the development of Doodle World and how it came to be. The game went through various highs and lows throughout development, and Wish, the developer, has my utmost respect and has a really interesting backstory. My old mindset of the game just being a flat version of Pokemon couldn't be further from the truth. Doodle World adds multiple game elements to differentiate it from other creature experiences on the Roblox platform. And being completely honest, I think what they've done is pretty genius. The story starts in 2013 when a game of the title Project Pokemon released. This game was a huge success on Roblox because it was a mimic of the original Red and Blue Pokemon games. Only 2 years later, Roblox players saw the release of Pokemon Brick Bronze. This game had major hype around it and was kinda seen as a more advanced Project Pokemon. We already know the infamous story of how these games blew up and then got taken down by Nintendo for copyright reasons, but this was only just the beginning. Soon after the game's deletion, Llama Train Studios made their big return with the release of Loomian Legacy. This had a ton of hype around it and was heard to be the Brick Bronze revival. The game was released and was a major success, but one question was left up in the air. Where is Project Pokemon? The developer of Project Pokemon, Wish_Z, actually never disappeared from the platform. He had his own game called Hero Havoc Simulator. This game had similar gameplay mechanics to Project Pokemon, and with some of the code being reused, it had a familiar vibe. Pokemon fans on Roblox kinda settled with this Hero Havoc sim until the release of Loomian Legacy. This is near the time when Wish_Z decided to make a comeback. Wish started talking about a new project on his Twitter. This game featured doodle creatures fighting each other through real-time combat. Throughout development, some mechanics were altered and some scrapped entirely. This tweet shows that there was originally going to be a stamina bar, and that the game wasn't going to be turn-based. This didn't end up being the case though, since the gameplay is more similar to that of Project Pokemon. The battle perspective has also been altered. What went from 3D environments was eventually changed back to 2D environments. After these couple of tweets, Wish suddenly stopped sharing news on Doodle World. For almost a year, he only tweeted about updates on Hero Havoc Simulator. Eventually, even updates started becoming more rare on his Twitter page. He would come back to make a statement that he would like to be more active on the site, but said he quote-unquote absolutely dreaded it. He also tweeted out of the blue that development on Doodle World was halted and that he'd start the game over from scratch since he didn't like how it was turning out. This tweet received a lot of positive comments from fans eager to test the game. Wish even answered some of the questions that fans had, like if Game Passes purchased in Project Pokemon would carry over to Doodle World. Not long after, Wish posted a draft of what the map could look like for the game. This isn't the final version, as confirmed by Wish. Later in October, updates on Doodle World and Hero Havoc would come out simultaneously. Updates would roll out showing things like finished menus for stats. Wish even discussed potential plans for updates that haven't come out to this day, like animations for following doodles. In March of the following year, Wish made a huge announcement stating that the game's core mechanics have been completed. The game would just need some minor tuning and refinements to ensure that the game's content levels and quality were up to Wish's standards. Then there was nothing. No news, no leaks, no information. Nothing. Wish didn't even post another Doodle World update until 2 months later, if you could even call it that. It was an apology for the long update time and assured fans that the designs for all 4 starters were completed and that he was excited to release the game. This was the last tweet that Wish would make for over 8 months. Followers started showing concern through comments and replies on Wish's apology. It seems like a lot of time and resources were being put into Doodle World since throughout this huge wait, Hero Havoc stopped receiving updates as well. Wish would come back once again to share his distaste for Twitter, but would also say that development time for Doodle World's beta would be coming to a near end, and that selective testing would finally be open for the game. And not long after, on April 2nd, players saw the long-awaited public release of Doodle World. The release actually went really smoothly, with very few glitches being present. Of course, after the game's release, it would go on to see numerous content updates that work towards enhancing the gameplay and continuing the story. After that, it's pretty much just updates and events regarding the game and social media accounts. That brings us to today. Doodle World clearly went through a ton of changes throughout its development, but the overall goal doesn't seem to be much different to what it was 3 years ago. The plan was to make a successor to Project Pokemon, and it happened. While Project Pokemon saw a near consistent player base of 2,000 players, Doodle World reaches around the same, if not more, on days with no updates. Sudden raises on the charts, presumably when an update is dropped, show the hype around Doodle World. With that brings us the big question: how is Doodle World genius? There are actually quite a few answers to that question. Earlier, I brought up the chart for Doodle World. This time, let's compare some stats. This is Doodle World's player base chart again. The game performs quite well, as you can see. Now let's compare it to a competing title, Loomian Legacy. You may realize that the numbers of Loomian Legacy seem to be way higher. How does a game like Doodle World manage to survive with its highest competitor having a dominant lead in players? That's its unique but familiar take on the genre. Throughout the development of Doodle World, a ton of old ideas have been scrapped. Ideas such as stamina and real-time combat have been scrapped for a more familiar battle system that manages to stay unique with its creative artistic direction. The game also has features to help assist the player in battle. The game will always have a type chart available to assure that players will know what types are effective against others. Alongside this, the game will let you know if a certain move will be super effective. This hand-holding is actually more of a positive than a negative, at least in my eyes. This helps eliminate confusion with all the new types and doodles. One huge factor that turns players away from playing different creature capturing games is everything has to be re-memorized in a way. Common knowledge when it comes to type matchups usually stem from Pokemon, and when a Pokemon-inspired game switches things up, it can be confusing to the player. This isn't a problem in Doodle World as much as it is in other games. That's only getting into the battling side of things. Other factors outside of battling are introduced to keep the player engaged at all times. Mechanics like the wheel, special shop, and help center keep doodle battles rewarding and worthwhile. Other unique ideas are brought into the game as well, like artifacts to keep PvP setups from getting boring and repetitive. Familiar mechanics are also slightly altered to keep them fresh, like the chaining mechanic for obtaining the shiny equivalent of a doodle. Doodle World has gone through a ton with its development process, and in the end, delivered a unique and fresh game to the Roblox platform. After investigating more about Doodle World, I think I've discovered a newfound respect for the developers and effort that has gone into the project. Respect much higher than that of before. Anyways, this is my deep dive investigation into the creation of one of my favorite Roblox games. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video to show your support. This is kind of a little break from the Doodle World series since it was starting to take over the whole channel. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.